took you Nightman and you don't belong to them.
I really appreciate the time that Harada takes answering questions. We get such an interesting look at the inner workings of Tekken, and in this video we have more tweets to talk about that does just that. Before we start with Harada's tweets, this billboard has been talked about so much. You have two arguments. Some people say it looks like Anna, some people say it looks like Josie. Now the reason why I think this probably could be Josie is because Josie's story in Tekken 7, she is a model who wants to join the Mishima Zaibatsu, but the Mishima Zaibatsu no longer exists. Lars took it over and transformed it into Yggdrasil. So if she isn't a part of that, she's probably still being a model, which would explain why she's on a billboard in Times Square. There's a lot of characters on the billboards that we talk about from time to time, and I really wonder if some of these will turn into characters or if they won't turn into a character. Who knows? Only time will tell. Now let's jump into Harada's tweets. We'll start off with this one where someone basically asks, in Tekken 8, will there be a possibility to switch characters' outfits? The example that they give is make Lily wears Asuka outfit, make Jin wear Kazuya's outfit, and so on and so forth. High Buff Gigas made 2 videos about this 2 years ago and they were wildly successful. So you can see a lot of people are interested in this idea. Harada responds and says basically, it's not possible. It is possible, but it would take so much resources because you would have to resize different outfits and clothing to each character. I found a picture on Google that explains exactly what he's talking about. And if you do this with many other characters, you would have the same outcome. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you would just want them to create new outfits for other characters, right? Another person on Twitter pretty much asked Harada that exact thing. The Tekken 4 King costume is really cool, so I'd like you to release it. What Harada says in response to this is really fascinating. The scary thing about past titles is people who were dissatisfied at the time will evaporate with the passage of time, and only those who have memories of being fond of something will revive to the present. This is something that I often talk about with characters, how so many characters in the past were not popular or was flat out hated, and then all this time passed and the people who hated that character or that idea, they disappear, and then you only have this large rabid fan base saying to bring it back. And I can kind of see what Harada is saying, that those ideas were bad at the time, so who's to know, who's to say if they put it back or bring it back in Tekken 8 that it won't be bad again. And I think this is a perfect time to bring up a comment. This overly push of Bruce in general is just sad. If he does return, I better see him in online most of the time. No other character in the whole entire franchise was replaced 3 times. Brian Fury, Josie, Fakaram. You can argue on whether or not those characters are more popular than Bruce, but the fact that they felt the need to replace him so many different times, I feel like he's going to be there in Tekken 8, but I just wonder how long will his popularity or the nostalgia ride for this character. I think Bruce is far superior to Fakaram. I think Josie, she's a cool character, but once again, you talk about the marketing factor of bringing Bruce back. Bringing Bruce back to Tekken 8 would satisfy and make everyone happy in the short term, but I'm thinking about the longevity of the character. Once we get into season 2, season 3 of Bruce, will he still be this character that everyone talks about, or will he be forgotten? That is what I want to see with Bruce. And also Jun Kazama. Will these characters maintain their popularity once they actually do appear? Going back to Harada's tweets, someone asked him, the paint function that was in Tekken Tag 2 was great. It was full of possibilities. For those of you who didn't play this game or don't know what they're talking about, basically you were able to put decals and stuff on your characters. It was a really cool idea, and this is what Harada says in response. I want to expand the range of user customization, and this is referring to Tekken 8. A lot of people saw this tweet from Harada talking about paint and customization and they celebrated, but I don't think that's exactly what he was talking about. In a video that I did 3 months ago, we talked about a news article that goes all the way back to 2017. Basically, he talked about how face paint is a very controversial subject depending on what part of the world you live on. Some places, face paint is a part of a sacred tradition, but others, face paint will get you canceled faster than anything. And then also he was talking about painting on the body. If you're allowed to paint on the body, especially in the day and age of Twitch and stream snipers, people will try to paint something offensive and then go onto a person's stream or stream snipe them to get whatever message across. So when you give the player the freedom to like paint whatever they want, that is often used in the worst ways possible. So when I see this tweet from Harada talking about wanting to expand on customization, I think he's just talking about in general, not necessarily painting, but more so just giving the players more options. The last tweet here, someone says, in Tekken 8, this time, there are new voices such as character battles and dialogue. Harada responds to this and says, re-recording or adding more voices depends on the character. However, I previously recorded voices etc. for the voices that would be desired to remain as they were in the past. So it goes on and on and on, but the part that's really cool about this is where he says some characters, their voices will be remade, and then other characters, they will use old voice lines. The topic of characters like Heihachi, Dragunov, characters who voice actors passed away, RIP. We want to see if the iconic voice lines return or will they get a new one. That's pretty much it for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Like and subscribe. Bye bye.